Hello, VC. Thanks for dropping in again. Tony from Tony's LPSRUS. I'm going to finally get to my UHQR box sets of Steely Dan, the first two releases from Chad Kasem's Acoustic Sounds. There's been tons of reviews on them. I'm not going to go into super detail. There's some really well-versed VC people out there that are much more how should I say, articulate. They know their things, especially, you know who they are, especially Mike Fremer. There's tons of them. Just going to give you my 2 cents. I felt like I was going to do it. I had the first Steely Dan, which was Can't Buy a Thrill, since it was released, but I didn't have a channel, so I want to do Can't Buy a Thrill and Countdown to Ecstasy. I have some OGs I did a comparison to. I have the Steely Dan OG ABC, and I have the Steely Dan MCA from the album Can't Buy a Thrill. So we're going to start with those. Can't Buy a Thrill, debut studio album, came out in November of '72 on ABC, and that's this here. And that's my original. I probably had this since high school. This is a gatefold. Now, this sounds fantastic. I played them. I did an AB with this one, and I have an MCA. And this sounds fantastic. I was super impressed. These records clock in at 40 minutes and 58 seconds. That's 2 sides combined. This was recorded at the Village Recorder in West LA around '72, and it was released in November of '72. Now, this record is analog, obviously. It sounds, I was very impressed. It just burst right out. Great sound stage, great air in between, not compressed. Then I tried my MCA, which is the subsequent pressing when ABC somehow sold this catalog to MCA, and that's Can't Buy a Thrill MCA. That's not a gatefold. So, and here's the LP, some notes I have written on this when I cleaned it, when I last played it. And I wrote on it, sounds better than the ABC. It's a gatefold, but I thought it sounded better than the gatefold ABC. And that's the OG label on that. But all in all, great copy. But then we get to the box set, and that's the focus of this investigation. These are incredible. You hear so much more. You hear detail that you may not hear in the original, although the originals are good. And is the better worth the extra money from finding a nice near mint OG? That's up to you. These are expensive, but these are considered investments. They will increase in value as more people get into vinyl, and as this stock runs out. Right now, I believe they're still available. I'm just going to open it and show you the contents, and I kept the shrink on. And that's the little insert that's here with some liner notes. Originally released in November of '72. And this is pretty cool. This is nice to have. It has the original tape. And the notes are from Donald Fagen, the liner notes. And liner notes are important. We did a video on liner notes. We did a video on Oscar-winning liner notes just recently. And here you have an original jacket, which is the gatefold. That jacket has not been cracked. And then we have the insert with some ads and the specifications of the UHQR formula. And we have the beautiful vinyl on 2 LPs. And these were well packaged this time. They actually came in an inner plastic sleeve with the records out, so as not to have any seam splits. And like I said, you really beat the sound on these. As far as a comparison, it's night and day. You're able to crank these up. There's more air. And when I say crank it up, you're not going to have the distortion. And a lot depends on your system. You know, the better the system, the better the table. Obviously, you're going to pull out everything in those grooves. The grooves in the original were magical. When these albums came out in '72, I'm sure most folks, I know me and myself, did not have the equipment to extract the magic that's in these. One thing I like to say about the UHQR, also the Countdown to Ecstasy, as well as the Can't Buy a Thrill, they have an organic sense to them. Chad cut these tapes, had Bernie Grumman cut these tapes many, many times, up to, I believe, on one issue, up to 7 times. I don't have everything on the note, but I think on the next one I'm going to talk about, which was the Countdown to Ecstasy, I believe he counted them many times. I know on Can't Buy a Thrill, he actually had Bernie cut one side at 7 times before he was satisfied. So he is a perfectionist. He's a cool guy. I met him once at an audio show in New York, and we got to talk. And really nice, really personable. So wish him luck, and he's doing great. I just ordered Amused to Death the other day, got that, and I'm pretty happy with that. I ordered all the Steely Dans the day they came out, so we have them all coming. So we'll be doing reviews hopefully as they come in. So now I'm going to move over to the original Steely Dan, Countdown to Ecstasy. This is an ABC copy. I believe it's an OG original. It's the only copy I have. I have a few copies of Asia, multiple copies of Gaucho, and that's the back jacket. Great cover. Got all the boys, and it's amazing. Just that's a great cover inside the studio. Now, this was recorded at Caribou Ranch in Colorado, and also at the Village Recorder in West LA, as was Can't Buy a Thrill. Now, Caribou Studios is famous. Chicago recorded a bunch of albums there. It was like a party atmosphere. I guess you could stay there, live there while you record. You get away from all the hustle and bustle of the cities and all the distractions that the bands may run into. And I tried to visit Caribou. I was in Colorado a few years ago, and Caribou, as far as I know, is no longer there. That's what I was told. So this comes with an insert, an original insert, and that's our ABC. Here's the insert. As you can see, a lot of shelf wear. And here's the ABC label. This is probably near me. I've had this probably since high school as well. Now that record I just had, Countdown to Ecstasy, super sounding. If that's all I had, I would be super happy. It comes out, sound stage is there, a lot of air between the instruments, very articulate. That's organic. It's not compressed. It's all obviously it's all analog. But when you get to the UHQR, you take it to another realm. Once you drop that needle, you hear just the richness. You hear again, I'm using the term organic, and I shout out to my friend Tony Gallo, who's one of my mentors as far as vinyl goes. Taught me a lot. Actually, I use some of his equipment that I purchased from him, and I really admire his knowledge of music and engineering and sound. He's the guy to do these reviews, not me, but Tony's kind of far from here. One day we're going to get together. I want to interview Tony on my channel. So I'm going to talk about the UHQR. I'm going to show the UHQR. And here's the cover. It's got the typical spine. These look really nice on the shelf. They take up a lot of room, but superb covers. Well done. There's the It's the inner with the technical stuff. There's the back jacket because they also give you an original. And I guess this is a gatefold. As you know, the gatefold, it was not an original gatefold. This hasn't been cracked. I don't like to crack them. I have to put this in a sleeve, but that's really, the money is here. Chad spends the money on packaging. He spends the money on boxes, spends the money on cutting it. Bernie has to get paid. He has a staff, technical support. If you have questions on the phone, they're always there unless they're having a meltdown. Like with the, just the other day I did one on the Bob Marley issue that was issued on last minute notice on UHQR. But otherwise, you get right through their website on the phone. I usually call them on the phone. Here's some more information. Here's liner notes, again by Donald Fagen, which are really insightful. I wish there was more. It's kind of disappointed. There's just a brief essay. I know he has a lot to say. I watched a few interviews on YouTube about the records. I believe Chad interviewed him or someone interviewed him. And that's it. Here's the vinyl. Again, it comes in a protective sleeve, which is new to this series. I believe my Hendrix was just loose in here. And with this, you have no problems. But let me get back to the original intention of this video. It's not to tell us about how great Chad's material is. Everybody knows that. But these records, these UHQRs, take everything to another realm. I just want to say I'm real happy with it. They are costly. If you can't afford these right now, you're going to have to pay more later. But if you can get a really great copy of of 1 and 2 of the original pressings, either the MCA or the ABC on Can't Buy a Thrill, which I kind of thought the MCA sounded better. Who knows? Next time I play it, maybe it's the opposite. But you know, they're expensive. They're worth it. If your system has that capability, they're worth it, and they're worth it as an investment. And as you know, your systems will get better and better as you attain that nirvana, which we never can. I've heard $100,000 systems that I said they're good, but that bump isn't $100,000. $100,000 speakers, that bump isn't $100,000. That bump is what's important to you and what's in your budget. And you know, when your system costs more than a car, you know, that's saying a lot. But I want to say that Countdown to Ecstasy original clocked in at 41:04 seconds, so 41 minutes 04 seconds. And again, that was recorded in the Caribou Ranch and Village Recorders in West LA. And let me see. Any notes here? Same thing as far as the soundstage, very rich, able to crank it up as far as you go. There's no distortion, no sibilance. Only thing, again, is a knock that with a 45 RPM, 2-record set, you're going to get up a little bit more frequently. I don't mind. I did mind with the Amused to Death because the way that's cut, it seemed quick. It seemed maybe 7-8 minutes aside on certain songs, but it was cut right. It sounded great, so I'm willing to do that. I don't really play a lot of 45s because of that, the 7-inch 45s, but these UHQRs have a high definition sound. They're worth the money as far as I'm concerned, based on inflation. Back when I was working in a record store, the average record price was a $6.98 list. We would sell them for roughly $4 on sale. $4 in 1973. I believe if you do an inflation calculator, is maybe $35, $40 today. It's hard to imagine for us old guys, but that's it. So, you know, I try to tell that you have to explain it to the wife. You have to explain it to your spouse, whether it's your husband or your wife or your boyfriend. You know what? You're spending $55 on a on a standard MoFi. That's a lot of money, but based on inflation, it's the same as what we paid back, what we spent back in the old days. Now I'm going to get back to my featured segment. It's an OG pressing that has audiophile sound qualities, and I have a great one here. It's on CTI, and I got this originally. I believe this is 1973 as well. So I try to keep something in the same era from what we just talked about, the Steely Dan's, and that's Deodato Prelude. And this is an original gatefold and CTI. And that's the CTI label. This has also Sprach Zarathustra, Spirit of Summer, Babbles, Bangles, and Beads, Prelude to Afternoon of a Fawn, September 13th. And I also have this at a reissue with a different cover. But this record, the first song, also Sprach, which is the theme. If you don't know this is a classical recording from Richard Strauss. But Elvis came out in Vegas. The great king, Elvis Presley, who I'll do some things on some of my original Elvises, which I did one way back when. But Elvis would come out to that theme. It's also in 2001, A Space Odyssey. But this is an OG. This is super. You put this on, your friends will look it up on eBay to try to buy one. And Deodato, keyboardist, jazz. I'm not sure if I don't have my glasses on. Let me see here. Billy Cobham's on this. Stanley Clarke is on this. Ron Carter. So you can see the pedigree. Deodato does piano, electric piano. Flute is Hubert Laws. Let me see. Oh, this is what I want to relate. Recorded at Van Gelder Studios, Rudy Van Gelder engineer, recorded September 1972. So that was in New Jersey, and this has the dead wax, the Van Gelder's initial. So if you could get it, if you're able to look at it at a record store, which I suggest you go first before you go online. It's always nice to look at them. See if it's a Randy Van Gelder. That I can guarantee is going to sound good. If it's cut and if it's like a few represses down the line, different companies that they end up getting these, I wouldn't get it right away. I will listen to it. Also, CTI would give you an opportunity to buy these covers in high quality paper suitable for framing. So CTI, Creed Taylor was CTI. That's the executive Creed Taylor. But this is unbelievable. These sound. It's just the sound stage, the organic, the quality, the articulation. Just no vocals, just instrumental jazz at its best, and that's it. So that's my segment. I didn't go into too much detail on the tracks. I just want to know I have great copies of the original Steely Dan's first and second album, which we now have on UHQR. The third should be coming, I guess, in a few months. Chad's doing them all. Someone said online that he's actually going to be releasing them subsequent to this on black 45 RPM black vinyl. Be a little less, and I'm sure they're going to sound spectacular. So that's the deal. Just want to get these off my chest. I wanted to put these out before I lost too much time because there's so many reviews. I want to get my review out. I hope you like it. It's like I said, it's just a quick review, just my opinion. There's a lot of opinions out there. You may not agree, but keep rocking. Thanks for stopping in. Tony's LPSRUS are out, and I hope to see you soon. We'll be doing some more videos in the next couple of days. Leave your comments. I hate to keep on asking, but if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Tell your friends if you like what I'm saying. If you don't like what I'm saying, leave some notes and give me your ideas of a good OG pressing that has audiophile properties. Thanks a lot. Tony's LPSRUS and out. Ciao.